All right, welcome back to the second part of our color sand and buff process on our 86 Monte Carlo. And I've put in a lot of hours wet sanding on this car. I went through the sanding process in the previous video. So now we're at the part where we can go ahead and start buffing and polishing out the clear coat to bring our shine back to the paint. And I went over it in the other video a little bit about what we're going to use, and I had mentioned 3 different pads. I went to my supply house today just to see if they had a little bit, because I did a test pattern on the hood using this compound and this buffing pad, and it works fine. It does take some time, 2 or 3 passes, to get all the fine sanding scratches out and leave a nice mirror finish on the paint. So I wanted to see if they had a compound that was a little bit more aggressive, and they have a new system. This company has a new system that is kind of follows what the 3M system is that's out there that I've used previously, where they have 3 stages of compounds and different pads you use on your rotary buffer. So they have this. It's called an extra cut rubbing compound, and it has a different microfiber wool pad that's blue and white. So they all come different colors so you don't get them mixed up. So I did another test pattern with this. It does cut quicker. It takes out those little fine scratches faster. So we're going to get a finish on this that we want in a little bit quicker fashion, because quite honestly I've got a lot of hours into this car so far. I've probably got about 30 or 40 hours into just sanding the car and getting it prepped to this point, and I'm probably going to have at least another 20 or 25 hours into compounding and buffing this and polishing it and having it cleaned and everything ready to go. So that's where we're at right now. Ideally, I'd like to take the car outside and wash it one more time and get all the residue off that you see on the car from the wet sanding process, but it is kind of cold outside. So I've just been using my prep solvent that I used before I paint, and the same blue rags, and I've just been wiping down the areas prior to doing any compounding on it. So we're going to go ahead and get the buffer out and bring you over here, and I'll go through the process of buffing on the panels and let you watch the shine and come back to this paint. Okay, so as I've said, I've gone ahead and I've wet sanded the whole car out all the way up to our 3000 grit, and you can see there is somewhat of a gloss back to the paint, but it's still hazy looking. So this is the stage where we bring this back to what it looks like here. It gives you that nice deep shine. This is going to leave a finish that's going to look very deep because this is a dark color. So let's go ahead and get the buffer ready. I've got my pad installed on my DA buffer, and we're going to take some of the compound, and I don't like to put the compound on the paint. I put some on the pad. So, and you don't need, there's another misconception when compounding, you don't need a lot. This compound is designed to have a little bit go a long way. So I put, if it's a new surface I'm just starting out on, I'll put 5 little daubs on the pad. Put my pad onto the surface I'm getting ready to buff, and just kind of move it, spread it around, because if you just hit the switch and turn the buffer on, it's going to spray everywhere. So here we go. Now, as you're going along, you'll start to see the gloss coming back to it, your compound will start to kind of dry and start to haze on there. Almost having your pad wipe it off as you're going, as you get towards the end of your run. So once you get to that point, you take a microfiber towel, a clean one, make sure there's nothing embedded in it. A lot of times it's better just go buy a pack of new ones, because you don't want to have anything in your towel that could possibly scratch the paint. And little pieces of dirt or anything that's not part of the towel itself, foreign matters, can scratch the paint back up. So we're just going to wipe it down, and look at that. Look how that shine comes back. That's what we're after, right there. So what you do, you want to give it a look from the side. It's always best to do this also under fluorescent lights. Fluorescent lights are going to show all the little scratches and sand marks that are still in it, and hazy areas. Like up here around this edge, this is still a little hazy. I got to hit this again. But the majority of this looks really good. I got this down pretty good. So we'll go ahead and go to our second pad. Which is our black one. The black and white one. Get that set on there. And again, it has its own compound too. This is just the Mystic Cut compound, the original, and it's a little bit lighter, not as aggressive. And we're just going to put about 3 daubs on there. Again, we'll spread this around in the areas we're going to work. Now, I'm putting my hand on there because I wanted to feel if the area was getting hot, warm, it's staying cold. And that's the great thing about the DA buffing process, is it doesn't heat the paint up. The rotary buffer will heat the paint up, and heat is what will cause you to burn through your edges. So if I was on this edge with a rotary buffer the way I was, it would have heated this edge up and probably burned through the clear coat. And like I mentioned before, now we're re-clearing the car. All right, so we're looking pretty good. We've still got a couple of areas here that need some, they're still a little cloudy. So we're gonna have to work that, and up against this window, still a little bit cloudy. So I may have to get it, they sell very small, it's like a 3-inch round buffing pad. And I may have to get some of those that I can use on my small air grinder, just to lightly get up against these edges and get in here a little bit tighter. The DA tends to want to work away from it. It's not getting in it real tight in the edges. So I may have to go and get a few of those so that I can get in around these edges better. Make it a little bit easier. But as you can see, we look really nice here. So let's move to our next pad, which is going to be our orange foam pad. And what the foam pad does is it will help to take out swirl marks that may show up from the wool pads or the microfiber pads. That's the thing too about a rotary buffer with a wool pad. Will leave a lot of swirl marks, especially in a darker color. And then you have to go to another compound with a different type of pad, usually a foam pad on a rotary buffer, that will get out those swirl marks. So again, we just spread our compound around in that area we're going to work. And we're going to slow the speed down. This is a variable speed, so we're going to slow the speed down. Trying to get in close on these edges. Alright, and again, cold. Little bit of heat difference. Very, very slight. Very slight difference in temperature. And now, wow. That is what we're looking for. Let me bring you in a little closer so you can really see this. Look at the deep shine, everyone, that we get out of that paint. So this is a process again. This can be done to just about any car out there, any paint job, any old paint job. I'm not going to say every car out there is going to give you the same results. But if you've got a pretty decent paint job on the car and you want it to look like this, get yourself a buffing kit. I would highly recommend this system from Wizards, especially if you're a beginner, because with the DA type of buffer and these different pads that they have, the system they have worked out, it's very difficult to burn through your paint, even on edges and corners, and it really will save you a lot of grief if you're a first-time buffer. So get a good system that works. The DA systems work great. Their rotary systems have their place too, but I have really taken to this DA type of buffing system, and I feel less apprehensive about coming up closer on my edges, which means I can get a nicer buff job because you're not having to stay back from it, and everything flows better around your paint job. So this is the results we're going to get. I'm going to bring you back after I've got pretty much probably everything on the car buffed, and give you one final look at the outcome of what we came out, how it came out, how everything came out on the buffing job. So you can see the whole car with its new shine. Hopefully we'll be able to get it outside in the sun. It's been kind of rainy and cloudy here the past couple weeks. I'm hoping we'll get a break over the next week or so. After I get this all finished, we can take it outside. We'll give it a really good cleaning because we got to get all the sanding residue out of it and all the polishing compound that's going to fly everywhere off of it, and clean everything up really nice again. And we'll give you one last look at it before it goes home to get all the striping done on it. So I'm probably going to skip the final step in the Wizard system, which is using the gray pad with their Mystic Nano Wax. Now, this does help with some swirl marks, and if I have any, I may go ahead and try it on there to eliminate anything, but the way it's coming out right now, I don't see anything. So I'm probably going to skip this step, and this is the reason why. There's been a lot of advancement in these ceramic coatings that are out now, and the pricing has come down on having that done. And the best time to have it done is with a fresh job like this. So I'm going to recommend to the owner that before any wax goes on this, which that final stage would be a wax protectant, to go and have the car ceramic coated. Get the stripe kit put on it and then have everything ceramic coated so that it'll be protected for whatever the time period is that the ceramic coat's supposed to last, and it's going to bring out the shine even more on this car when that gets put on. And I believe the process leading up to applying that ceramic coating is you have to thoroughly clean the car and remove any previous waxes or sealants that were put on the paint, so that the ceramic coating will adhere properly to the paint job and last for the time period it's supposed to. So rather than go ahead and put a wax on it and then the next person have to take it off, I'm going to eliminate that last step and recommend that he has it ceramic coated. If he doesn't want to get the car ceramic coated, then we'll go ahead and do our final wax step with the nano wax and the gray pad and clean everything up and leave it at that. Alright, I am still here buffing away on this Monte Carlo, and I went ahead and got out my rotary buffer because I needed to get this cut down a little quicker, and I just wanted to show you the difference between the two and how you use them. So I'm going to put some compound here on my pad. Again, this compound, you don't need a whole lot of it, so, and just want to place it on there and kind of smear it around. Alright, and give it a wipe, and you can see shine come right up. Again, the difference with this buffer, you do have to, you don't ever want to stay in one place too long. You always want to keep it moving. Always have your buffing wheel turning off an edge, like we've got an edge right here, so you want to have it turning off the edge so as it's not grabbing it. What I've found as I'm going along with this car, it really helps to have, again, fluorescent lights, different angles. Get the car in different angles, you start to see things popping out in the paint. So as I've been going along, getting this thing in the air, I've already buffed this whole side of the car one time, but I've been finding some really fine scratches still in the paint. So I came back at it with some 3000 grit and just gave it one more pass with that, sanded it out one more time, which is what you see here. I did this whole quarter, and just give it another light sanding, clean it off, again hit it with the buffer, and I'm going to look at it from this direction because this is where my light is up that way, and if I look at it in there at an angle, I don't see any scratch marks in this panel now. So that means my last sand pass got all those scratches out, and it's buffed out now to a mirror shine. Okay, so we've come to the end of our paint correction on the 86 Monte Carlo. If you haven't seen the videos prior on this car, look in my playlist and you'll see the process that we did to do the paint job on this car last year, where we stripped the car down, did all the body work on it, and did the final paint work on this car. And then the owner took the car home and he did all the final assembly, putting everything back on it, and brought it back to us to have the paint corrected, take out the orange peel, and there were a few runs here on the car because the temperatures got cold when I was painting this car, so that's what happens sometimes. So we've got everything finished up. The car looks really, really good now. As you can see, it's December 23rd today, and we are having an extreme cold snap here in the Carolinas this next couple of days, and it's very windy outside. Otherwise I would have been recording this outside, but I am going to pull the car out and just do some walk around footage to show you the car as it's finished up now, with all the paint leveled out and everything buffed out to a really nice mirror finish. So I'm really happy with the way it came out. Again, I hope this little series on doing paint correction and buffing on your car was helpful, gave you some tips on ways that you can improve the quality of the paint on your car. This is something that can be done on almost any car. I would recommend, if you're going to tackle something like this and you're still driving the car or still using the car and you want to do a little bit on the weekends, you can do a panel at a time. Do a door, do the hood, do the trunk, do a quarter panel, get it sanded down, get your buffer out, buff it out back to a shine. Next weekend or a couple weeks later, do another panel. Just work your way around the car until you've got it finished up. This way you can still drive the car and not have it down for any length of time. So now that it's finished, the owner's going to take this car and he's going to have a ceramic coating applied to it so it's well protected from the elements, and gives it good UV protection on top of the good clear that we put on it, so it's got some really good protection to it, and it also helps protect the paint against slight scratches. So again, thanks for following along with this series on the Monte Carlo. This is probably going to be the last we do on this car. He's got to get the stripes applied, ceramic coating done, but I won't see the car maybe until after that. If he happens to bring it back, I'll do a short piece on it so you can see it with all the striping put back on it. But thanks again for following. Again, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell notification so you can see my new videos when they come out. And I'll see you again soon.